Looking at her yearbook photo brings a lot of tears for Angie's best friends. The question for them is, why would somebody want to kill her? That's something that Chula Vista police are also asking tonight. Charlotte says she makes the kits here in her home in El Cajon. She's been doing it for quite some time, never really kept it a secret, been very open about it. But what really caught the ire of lawmakers is when an Oregon man who apparently had no terminal disease used one of her kits to kill himself back in December. A full day after this tragedy, people here in Park Creek Court know what happened here. It's very evident and people are talking about it. The big question they have, though, is why did this happen? How could it happen to a family that seemed to get along so well? Questions also being asked by San Diego police. At first glance, Libby Lake Park seems like a nice place to frequent for kids and young adults. People fish here, a lot of kids barbecuing and playing on the playground. But at nighttime, we are told by some people who did not want to go on camera that there have been a lot of problems in Libby Lake Park, things like drugs and even gangs.
Are calling for an end to the violence. KUSI's Tom Jordan is live near the scene of that shooting tonight. Tom?
Alan, they're calling for that end of violence on Imperial Avenue behind me. They started holding this rally right about an hour and a half ago, calling for justice in the death of Jonathan Ryan Gonzalez. But I want to show you this. This was the scene of the shooting. This is Chester Street. There's a makeshift memorial right here. This is right where the shooting happened, outside of this home, across the street from where Jonathan lived. This is what they've been putting up since shortly after he was killed on Monday. People kind of walking around here gathering about in honor of 24-year-old Jonathan Ryan Gonzalez. He murdered, police say, when somebody shot him in the chest. The people here don't want his death to be in vain, so they are marching across the street. Also to say this violence here in the southeast San Diego region has got to stop. Let's take you back to Monday when Jonathan was killed. San Diego police say he was standing in the 600 block of Chester Street at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Broad daylight here. A burgundy Cadillac pulled up. Some words were exchanged between Gonzalez and somebody in the Cadillac. A passenger of that Cadillac then pulled out a gun and opened fire. Gonzalez was shot in the chest and died about 4 hours later at Scripps Mercy Hospital in Hillcrest. Friends and family here are not only grieving his death, they're mad.
Came up to Jonathan and started.
I want to do that.
Cowards. Cowards.
Coward, the best way to describe it. And these people here are marching now back on Chester Street where this shooting occurred on Monday. They are angry about this. They want these people caught. Again, there were 3 men. They were described only as black in a burgundy Cadillac. 2 of them got away in the Cadillac. 1 of them got away on foot. The guy that got away on foot was believed to be the person who pulled the trigger and killed Jonathan Gonzalez on Monday. Now, again, police do not believe that this was gang-related. They desperately want to catch these people, described again as 3 people. 2 of them got away in the Cadillac, 1 got away on foot. If you know anything at all, you're asked to contact San Diego police right away.
We begin tonight with the latest on the Surfing Madonna controversy in Encinitas. The City Council is meeting tonight to try to figure out what to do with it. KUSI's Tom Jordan is there live. Tom?
And Sandra, the city still doesn't know who put up this Surfing Madonna, but a lot of people really seem to like it out here. City Hall in Encinitas has been inundated with phone calls and emails, both in support and in opposition to the Surfing Madonna. If you haven't seen it, this is what it looks like. The 10-foot by 10-foot mosaic work of art was installed just before Easter under a train bridge on Encinitas Boulevard. It depicts Our Lady of Guadalupe riding a surfboard with the caption, "Save the Ocean." Now, reportedly, a group of artists disguised as construction workers put it up in broad daylight with a glue considered so strong it is very difficult to remove. It is not a city-sanctioned work of art, meaning it did not go through the proper public review, so it is technically graffiti. But there are some mixed opinions tonight by residents over whether it should stay or go.
I think it's ridiculous that we're spending tax dollars to even talk about this. It's against the law to do that. Take it down. That's my only point. Whether it's art, whether it's pretty, what the message is, has nothing to do with it. Somebody broke the law.
You know, we have so many Hispanic people here in Encinitas, and Guadalupe is their babe, you know? Really?
First off, I think it's really cool because it's art and it's bright and colorful, so I like it. But then I understand the other side of it, that people can't be just going and putting stuff anywhere they want to, unless they have permission.
Yeah, some mixed reviews here tonight. The City Council tonight will review a report that they commissioned on how this mural or this mosaic was installed and what it might cost to actually further analyze how to remove it. No decision tonight is expected by the City Council on whether it should stay or whether it should go. Sandra, back to you.
Quite the art project there, Tom. Now, because the glue you said is so strong, it seems like it could cost a pretty penny to remove.
Yeah, it could cost a lot. In fact, just to analyze how to remove it, they're about to embark on another study how to remove this. That report is expected to cost about $1,700 in and of itself. Now, it costs, they estimate, about $1,000 with the materials and the glue and the different parts to put this thing up. So it's already costing more to analyze how to take this down than it actually costs to put it up. But that's one of the items on the agenda tonight. Why are they spending so much money on figuring out how to take this down?
Tax money. All right, we'll check in with you tonight at 10 o'clock. Thank you, Tom.
All right.
3 children at his wife's daycare. KUSI's Tom Jordan is live with the latest on that story tonight. Tom?
Alan, we are at the Hall of Justice next door at the county courthouse. 52-year-old Hector Herrera pled not guilty today. He faces some very serious charges, including oral copulation on a child under the age of 10.
Hey, do you believe your husband could do this?
I don't think so because I know it's my husband.
Lupe Herrera, the owner of Shining Stars Daycare in Shelltown and the wife of the man accused of molesting several children in her care. She defends Hector Herrera, saying the kids were never alone with her husband.
Was your husband ever alone with children?
My husband is still alone? No.
52-year-old Hector Herrera was arrested for suspicion of molesting 3 siblings at this licensed daycare center, which is also Lupe and Hector Herrera's home. San Diego police say a 4-year-old girl told her mother over the weekend that she had been molested. After that, more alleged victims came forward from the same family.
There are 2 other victims beside her, so a total of 3 victims. Her 2 brothers, and they are 6 years old as well as 8 years old.
All of this on what seems to be a family-friendly street. Ice cream trucks, children playing in the yards, neighbors talking over fences. Shining Stars Daycare is on a very busy street here in Shelltown. Dozens of children live here, and when their parents found out about this alleged molestation, they were very concerned.
Yeah, that seemed like something unforeseen, what's going on down there, but...
As a father, how does it make you feel?
Oh, we're glad that you got him. We didn't think that something that close, it happened right in your own community. And we're glad y'all out here to investigate it.
The Shining Stars Daycare has been closed after these allegations came to light. There is also a concurrent investigation taking place by the Community Care Licensing Division. They're part of the State Department of Social Services, which regulates the state's daycare centers. They are also looking into the accusations and the daily operations to determine if the center is following all the state's daycare laws. If and when they deem this daycare center is safe, it will reopen. Until then, Lupe Herrera, who is not a suspect, says she'll have trouble supporting her family.
You close my child care center. This is my life. I work with them. Who gave it to me, the support for my family?
This could be several life sentences for Hector Herrera. His bail has been set today at $500,000, and the judge has ordered that he makes no contact if he gets out on bail with the victims in this case. Now, a readiness conference is set for June 1st and then followed by a preliminary hearing, Alan, on June the 3rd.
Catastrophic layoffs of counselors and nurses and teachers, 30 kindergarteners in a classroom.
These layoffs are as unwarranted and divisive now as they were in 2008, 2009, and 2010.
Voices of dissent, one after the other, opposing a San Diego School Board proposal to serve layoff notices to hundreds of teachers and employees and chopping several popular school programs.
This bizarre exercise of fake numbers and draconian cuts does nothing to help our students learn and grow.
We will not tolerate them to be packed in classrooms like sardines. That's just not fair to them.
The district does have a $120 million budget deficit demand. They say they've tried to trim elsewhere, but now with 91% of the district's operating budget paying for personnel, there's really nowhere else to turn. School Board President Richard Barrera says he hates this unfortunate but necessary decision.
We're going to be in a better position over the next 3 months to undo some of the damage that's done tonight and to keep fighting, for alternatives that don't, have us end up, with a decimated school system next year.
What exactly is at stake? More than 900 teacher jobs. That's about 1 in every 8 teachers within San Diego Unified. 600 other non-teaching positions could also be cut. The board says these layoffs would save the district about $100 million. The other savings will be made by cutting into programs like arts and music.
You just cannot do without music and the arts. Music is a core curriculum subject.
Much, though, depends on the ballot box. If Governor Brown's tax extension proposal makes it to the ballot and voters approve it in a June special election, San Diego Unified's deficit could be cut in half. The last bit of hope for these teachers.
We're in this recession and everything's difficult for everybody, but it just keeps things the same for a couple more years to get us through.
A sea of blue, caps and gowns on what is supposed to be a day of celebration. Graduation day at San Ysidro High School, a ceremony that one of the fallen family members of a murder-suicide was supposed to attend.
I lost a dear friend. There's no question about that.
Hector Espinoza is the principal of San Ysidro High School. His dear friend, Mary Catherine Alvarez, worked at San Ysidro High as a teacher's assistant in their special education department. She and her 2 young children found dead Wednesday morning.
Very difficult, along with a lot of the staff members who work very closely with her.
Mary Catherine's body and that of her 2 young children, 12-year-old Angelica and 11-year-old Hamid, were discovered just 1 day earlier in this East Lake townhome, strangled to death by her long-term live-in boyfriend, who committed suicide Wednesday morning by jumping off this bridge on Highway 125 in Spring Valley. The killer was not the children's father and was likely in the middle of a breakup with Alvarez when the killings occurred. Balancing those 2 emotions, celebration and sadness, very hard to do here at San Ysidro High School. There is definitely a sense of sadness here, a type of grief that's only exceeded by the victim's family and friends.
What could possess someone to be so cruel to another human being? It's very overwhelming.
Family friend Brandy Harris stands among a makeshift memorial outside the Alvarez townhome 1 day after their bodies were discovered inside. The bodies may have been there for several days.
It appears that it was probably late Monday evening or maybe early Tuesday morning.
Chula Vista Police Chief David Bejarano partially bases that on the fact that Mary Catherine had called in sick on Friday and did not show up to work Tuesday after Memorial Day. He also says the investigation reveals that the 3 family members had been strangled to death, likely by the bare hands of Mary Catherine's boyfriend.
And probably also some instrument that was used to strike the victims.
Amidst the cheers for a graduating class that met and exceeded many academic goals, the Alvarez family was remembered at Thursday's graduation in a brief ceremony. Mary Catherine, a key player in bringing about the school's success.
Also meeting the needs of those kids. It takes a real special person to do that.
Now with that conversation. Tom?
And Sandra, Andrew Breitbart has been everywhere this week with his revelation of the now infamous Anthony Weiner photo that he posted on his website, biggovernment.com. Well, he is here now in San Diego, and he told me exclusively that Congressman Weiner seems to have a whole lot more to hide.
He's doing irreparable damage to everyone that is around him who has stood by him.
Conservative blogger Andrew Breitbart brings his 2-week-long crusade that is now Weinergate to San Diego. His revelation of New York Congressman Anthony Weiner's X-rated photos and what Breitbart calls Weiner's narcissistic behavior that is yet to prompt a much called-for resignation.
You have a sitting congressman who's been sending his triple X photos out to people who haven't asked for it, and that's what the New York Times just established. I think that you now find yourself in a position where this is beyond the pale.
But the latest revelation, that of a 17-year-old Delaware high school girl whom Weiner befriended, and her apparent romantic fondness of the disgraced congressman, might be the final revealing fact that causes Weiner to pull out. Or maybe not.
He's issued a statement that said that those communications were not inappropriate. The big question is, if he wasn't communicating with her inappropriately, what is an appropriate communication for a sitting married 47-year-old congressman and a 17-year-old girl?
Andrew Breitbart might be preaching to the conservative choir here at the Eagle Forum Convention in San Diego, but he says more people are coming to his side, even the biggest names in liberal politics.
I have an impeccable source who said that both Presidents Clinton and Obama called him today before the teenager and said, "Get the hell out of here."
But a resignation may still not be in Weiner's future. A new poll shows that 56% of Congressman Weiner's New York constituents don't think he should leave office over the Twitter scandal. His own pregnant wife has said she supports her husband, and probably most importantly, according to Andrew Breitbart, Weiner himself doesn't seem all that bothered by all this attention.
My impeccable source says he's enjoying this, and he seems to be reveling in the fact that he's, imploding in front of us. And that's what I hear, and it would sit with my perception that this guy's a toxic narcissist who just likes attention.
Now, I asked him if this were to be a Republican, would he pursue this story? He said emphatically yes. He said he is a news hound, and while he is conservative, he says this story trumps politics. In the newsroom, I'm Tom Jordan, KUSI News.